All right, students, good morning and welcome to the next part of French Revolution. So, in the previous classes, we discussed about how French society was built, what were the different estates, the first estate, the second estate, and third estate in French society, and what kind of people were divided into these estates. We learned that the first estate was the church, the clergy who headed the church. The second estate was made up mainly of noblemen like the king, queen, duke, duchess, people with land and property and titles. And the third estate were the remaining people, which also included farmers, laborers, even rich businessmen were also included under the third estate. We also learned that the first and the second estate would not pay any taxes, and all the taxes were paid only by the people in the third estate. And after that, we saw how King Louis, at the very young age of 20 years, in the year 1774, became the king of France. And once he became the king of France, he found that the treasury was absolutely empty, no money in the treasury. And his decision on seeing this was to increase the taxes on the people of the third estate. So this was all that we learned in the past 2 days. So going ahead, let us see what happened in France. What was the situation once King Louis had decided to increases the taxes. So here is a complete gist of what we had learned: the first estate, the second estate, and the third estate, and what kind of work and how they lived. So the church, let us see how the church collected taxes. The church collected a taxes which was called as tithes. This was basically a religious tax which was imposed on the third estate people, and in the name of Christianity, the church collected these taxes. There was another direct tax which was called as style, which was also collected from the third estate people. And most of the things, whatever was bought by the people in the third estate, was taxed, including things like salt. So basically, everything, whatever they purchased, whatever they earned, everything was taxed. And the third estate was the only class of people who used to pay all these taxes. Now it so happened once King Louis found that there was no money in the treasury. Obviously, this had a effect on the people as well. When there is no money with the government, it shows on the provisions that the government makes. They find that the food grains which they are supposed to give to the people, supply to the people, that also is not there. There is a lot of problem, and also what happens is because of the war, which French had given lots of money to Americans, to the U.S. War of Independence, and along with that, there was also an increase in the population. So all these things put together created a situation which was called as subsistence crisis in France. Now, mainly subsistence crisis is a situation where the basic living of the people is put into problem. The basic subsistence which we need, that is food, water, clothing, these things are put into problem and are not in proper supply to the people. That is why it causes a crisis. So the causes of subsistence crisis in France was population increased, but agricultural production did not increase to that same extent. So, because of the increase in population, there was a huge demand for food, and the supply for this food was not in line with the demand for food. As a result, prices of food grains obviously will shoot up because there is shortage of food and there are more people trying to buy this food. That is why the shortage is resulting in the increase in the amount of food grains. Wages and incomes of common people did not increase. When the food grains are expensive, the common people don't have enough money to buy this because their wages, their salaries, whatever they earn weekly, has not increased. It is the same small amount that they were getting, and on top of that, they also have to pay the taxes. So poor people could not buy food, and deaths due to starvation increased because there was no proper food for the people to eat. Obviously, people started dying because of starvation, because of hunger. Situation got worse when crop failed due to drought and hail. Hail is where almost hard pieces of ice like they fall. Anekallu, what they call over here in Karnataka. So that and drought. Drought is no rainfall. These two things put together destroyed a large amount of crops, and because of that, also the crop supply was bad and it failed. All these things put together created a situation which was called as the subsistence crisis in France. So there's a chart over here for you to understand what the subsistence crisis was, how it was caused, and there's also a comparative of the increase in the population. In 1715, France had a population of 23 million, and in 1789 it increased by 5 million to 28 million. That is a huge amount of increase over there, more than 10% increase, which is very bad. And subsequently and in line with that, the food production was not increasing. So this is what caused the subsistence crisis in France. So did the French people revolt in the past? See, this situation what we are seeing in France at present, the subsistence crisis, the increase in taxes by the king, all this is a very difficult situation for people to take care of. So obviously, people are angry at this stage. People want a change. They are going to fight back because they don't have any comfort over there. You forget about comfort; they are not even able to live properly. So that is the situation in France as of now. So the question arises: have they any time fought back? Have they any time revolted and told that enough is enough? We are not going to take this kind of nonsense anymore. So the question over here is they did. There were small uprisings, there were small revolts, but the problem was the people in the third estate were only the rich ones who were there in the third estate, only they were the people who were active. The poor people basically, were they're just trying to survive over here, and the problem was there was no proper leadership in the third estate. So now this time the situation in France is very ripe for a revolution. It is very ripe for a revolution. Anytime things can explode. That is the kind of situation that is there in France. So let us see what are the new changes that are happening in France at this same point of time. The middle class evolved during this period, this 18th century period where we are seeing, we have it is seen that the middle class people, people belonging to the middle class are slowly evolving, and more number of people are there in the middle class. People from the third estate earned money through manufacturing or international trade. Because of the increase in international trade, there were people in the third estate who were doing business and they were earning money also. Some people were also doctors, teachers, lawyers, administrative officials. These people also were there in the third estate, and these people had a specific ideology and also provided leadership. So, compared to the previous years, this 18th century was a time where there was a growing number of middle class people. Earlier, the middle class people were not educated, but in the 18th century, as education increased, there was a growing number of middle class people also in the country of France. Middle class felt that no group of people should be having privileges by birth. Privileges by birth means the people belonging to the church, the clergy. These people were a group of people who were privileged by birth. Okay. And then the noble people, people with titles, people with land and titles, like the king, the queen. The king was chosen by birth. The prince was born to the king, definitely would become a king after the king died. So this all this was chosen by birth. So the middle class felt that these kind of privileges should not be there by birth. We should have some different kind of system. A person's social position should be based on merit, on what he is able to do, not just because he is born to a noble family he should be made a king. That situation should not arise. The people started having a different way of thinking and looking at things. They wanted society based on freedom, equal laws, opportunities for all. So here they started thinking of a society where all the people would be treated equally. Plus, All the people would have freedom to do whatever they wanted to do, and above all that, the opportunities which existed should be equal for all. This is what the kind of society people started thinking about. Now, for people to start thinking about these things, a thought should generate first. Somebody should get an idea first. No, it is not like suddenly I get a, the feeling that we should not have people with privileges, there should be equality. There is a thought process involved in all of this, and the people who were mainly behind this thought process, they were called as philosophers. Now, philosophers is a kind of person who mainly does a lot of thinking. He thinks about how the present society is being run, and he thinks about what changes could be there. He thinks about how our future could be better, could be different from the present situation. So there were three such philosophers in France. There were many more, but these three, who are stated in your textbook also, these three were the philosophers who had the greatest or the most influence in French society. One of them was John Locke. John Locke thought that this concept of having a king and all the powers that are automatically given to the king without even the permission of the people, this is wrong. So he challenged this idea of having a monarch. Monarch means king. So he challenged this idea. Then there was Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, he said that whichever government is there in the country, it could be ruled by a king, it could be ruled by a chosen person. This government is basically for the people. This government is put in over there so that it can take care of the people. This was what Jean-Jacques Rousseau thought, and he called this as a social contract. It's a social contract between the people and the rulers. This was his idea, his concept. So the rulers of any place should rule for the people and should work for the benefit of the people. This should be there. It is not like the idea of the king who just rules the place because he is the king and he can put whatever kinds of laws and rules he wants to put in place. That idea of a king was not, attested by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He said that it is a social contract between the people, and this social contract must be honored by both the parties. Then there was Montesquieu. Montesquieu gave us the idea of the three division of power and the three arms of the government, that is the legislature, executive, and judiciary. These three things you have learnt in your social and political life last year, and before that also. You have learned that there is always a division of power in our democracy. All the power does not lie in the same place. There is the legislature, the part of the government which is involved in making the laws. There is the executive, that is the part of the government which is involved in taking care of the law. And then there is the judiciary, which is the part of the government which is involved in settling of disputes. So these three powers exist by themselves separately, they do not intermingle, and that's the reason why power is not concentrated or only one sided. It is separated equally between the three arms of the government. This idea, which is still date being used by us in our country and many countries across the world also, was given to us by Montesquieu. So these philosophers were the people who gave plenty of ideas of how the future of the world should look like, how the future should be developed so that people are able to live more comfortably and are able to have a better life for themselves. Okay, so up till now in this class, what we did is we recapitulated earlier what was happening in France, what was the situation in France. Then we learned about the subsistence crisis, what were the reasons behind the subsistence crisis, and how the people were affected by the subsistence crisis. Then we also learned about what was the changes happening in France in the 18th century, how the people were getting more and more educated. And lastly, we learned about the philosophers, the philosophers who are the main characters in this French Revolution, because they gave the ideas which put the seeds of revolution into the third estate and into France. So the philosophers played an extremely important role and a very important part in this lesson also. So please go through the lesson, read the lesson in your textbooks, and in case you have any doubts, definitely we can post it in the doubt section. Unfortunately, we were not able to take the live class today because of network issues, but the recorded video is there for you to see again and again. And for now, we'll stop over here today, and please do take care, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.